Embarking on the journey of self-discovery and self-affirmation represents a universal challenge that we all confront at some point in our lives. In this context, it is imperative to acquire the ability to establish personal boundaries and understand the significance of firmly saying no. Often we find ourselves trapped in the routine of prioritizing the needs and desires of others, frequently sacrificing our own interests and well-being in the process. Now, if you are new here, please like the video and subscribe. Statistics show that only 15% of my audience is subscribed to the channel, so if this content has helped you in any way, I ask you to subscribe and hit the notification bell. Now let's start this transformative journey together. This reflection aims to delve into the underlying dynamics of this behavior, highlighting the importance of recognizing and respecting our individual boundaries. We will examine how distancing ourselves from harmful situations or relationships not only constitutes an act of self-preservation, but also a powerful manifestation of self-respect and autonomy. Throughout this text, we will explore the multiple facets of this process, considering how the ability to say no and maintain a clear orientation in life can transform our relationship with ourselves and others, leading us towards a more authentic and fulfilling existence. The phenomenon is intriguing and common. The propensity of many people to dedicate their time and effort to others, often beyond their own limits and needs. What is the origin of this behavior? It could lie in an internal search for personal validation, a deep yearning to be valued and accepted. Perhaps these individuals believe that their self-esteem is intrinsically linked to the perception others have of them. This excessive concern for others' opinions can become a dangerous trap. When you pay too much attention to what others think, you risk losing your own identity, ending up as a reflection of external expectations and judgments. This process can be exhausting and, in many cases, lead to a vicious cycle of constant seeking of recognition and approval. The motivation behind this journey for acceptance can vary. Some may experience insecurity about their own worth and rely on external validation to feel worthy, while others may have grown up in environments where love and attention were conditioned on meeting external expectations, leading them to believe that it is the only way to receive love and respect. However, it is crucial to recognize that this constant search for external approval can be a lonely and unsatisfying path, like trying to fill an internal void with something always out of reach. The key to breaking this cycle may lie in developing a healthier relationship with oneself, learning to value one's own opinions and needs. By doing so, one can begin a journey towards greater authenticity and personal satisfaction, where the opinions of others are only a part of the whole and not the defining factor of happiness and self-esteem. Many of us at some point find ourselves dedicating our time and energy to others. But what is the reason behind this phenomenon? Is it a quest for self-affirmation or a deep longing to be appreciated? Excessive concern for the opinions of others can make us prisoners of these external judgments. If you often find yourself in this situation, I wish to share with you a valuable strategy for reclaiming your sovereignty and self-esteem: distancing yourself. Although it may seem like a harsh measure, in certain circumstances, distancing yourself is a necessary step to reaffirm your personality and strength. Throughout life, we encounter various people, some who do not respect boundaries, others who are excessively dependent or even cruel and selfish. Showing these people that you are willing to distance yourself not only reinforces your independence, but also regains control over your own life. The power of distancing yourself relies on two fundamental pillars: the ability to say no and having a clear direction in your life. If you tend to lose your identity in others' desires or, worse, feel used or abused, you likely struggle to reject requests and lack a defined purpose. Having a clear goal demonstrates to the world that you value your time and, by extension, your life, naturally distancing yourself from situations where your boundaries are not respected. Maintaining focus on your path reduces the need to seek external approval. Remember, distancing yourself is not just a physical action, but a mindset of self-esteem and respect. Adopting this stance sends a powerful message: you are in charge of your own life. I sincerely appreciate that you have taken the time to read about these aspects. Distancing oneself can seem like a drastic measure, but at certain times it becomes an essential action to assert one's autonomy in a given scenario. Throughout life's journey, we cross paths with countless people. Some of these interactions are fleeting, like leaves carried by the wind, while others take root deeply in our hearts. Each encounter, whether brief or enduring, leaves its unique mark on our personality and contributes to the unique tapestry of our story. Making the decision to step back is not always an easy choice, often accompanied by a mix of emotions, a blend of relief with a touch of melancholy. It is essential to remember that taking control of our own narrative is an indicator of maturity and self-awareness. Knowing when to say goodbye, when to close a chapter, is a vital skill for building a fulfilling and authentic life. Sometimes this decision may be perceived as selfish by others. However, it is an act of self-preservation. By stepping away from situations or people that no longer align with our values or aspirations, we open space for new opportunities and enriching experiences. This journey of self-discovery is a mosaic composed of encounters and farewells, each contributing a unique color to the broader picture of our existence. While moments of farewell can sometimes be painful, they are crucial for our growth. They teach us about our limits, desires, and, most significantly, about our true identity. By sharing these reflections, my goal is to spark curiosity and interest in the audience, stimulating the ability to view their own stories with a new perspective, full of possibilities and learning. The behavior of these individuals can manifest as cruelty, using sarcasm, criticism, or abusive behaviors with the sole purpose of benefiting themselves without any consideration for the well-being of others. While these negative interactions are challenging, they offer valuable learning opportunities. They prompt us to understand the importance of establishing and maintaining healthy boundaries. Learning to identify and manage such personalities becomes a crucial component for our emotional and personal development. These experiences teach us to be assertive, to defend our values, and not to allow others to treat us disrespectfully or harmfully. By making the conscious decision to distance ourselves from those who do not respect our boundaries, we send a powerful message to ourselves and to them. This attitude makes it clear that we are not anyone's property and that we have the power and autonomy to choose who is part of our lives. This choice to withdraw is not only an act of self-affirmation, but also a significant step to regain control over our well-being and capabilities. The decision to distance ourselves can be considered an act of self-defense and preservation. By stepping away from toxic people or draining relationships, we are caring for our mental and emotional health, prioritizing our personal space, and investing in our own growth. Ultimately, this gesture is a tangible reminder that we are the main architects of our happiness and inner peace. Additionally, this action can have a significant impact on those prone to overstepping boundaries. It can serve as a wake-up call, giving them the opportunity to recognize the impact of their actions and perhaps motivating them to initiate changes in their behavior. Indeed, the strength of distancing oneself is founded on two essential pillars: the assertiveness of saying no and the clarity of direction. Firstly, The word no reveals itself as a powerful tool in the art of setting boundaries. It is simple, direct, and effective. By expressing a no, you clearly communicate your personal needs, preferences, and limits. This act of self-affirmation is essential for maintaining healthy and respectful relationships. It represents a declaration of independence, demonstrating that you have control over your choices and behavior. Saying no goes beyond a simple refusal. It is an act of self-respect and self-awareness, allowing you to reject unpleasant situations, overwhelming commitments, and disrespectful behaviors. Used assertively and respectfully, this word becomes a sign of inner strength and confidence. Secondly, direction presents itself as the element that guides us towards where we want to go, both literally and metaphorically. Having direction means having goals, aspirations, and a sense of purpose in life. The direction in which we are headed facilitates decision-making and the choice of paths that align with our values and goals. Direction provides focus, helping us avoid distractions and negative influences. Together, saying no and having direction form a powerful combination. While no protects us from unwanted external influences, direction keeps us on track to achieve our goals and dreams. These two concepts are crucial for maintaining personal integrity and following a path that is authentically ours. If you often find yourself yielding to others' whims or, in more severe situations, being exploited, manipulated, or abused by others, you may struggle to assert a no and lack a clear direction in life. These warning signs deserve careful attention and reflection. The inability to say no often arises from a desire to please, avoid conflicts, or the mistaken belief that one's own needs and desires are less important than those of others. While this behavior may seem harmless initially, it can trigger a cycle of self-denial and resentment, creating an environment conducive to being used or abused. On the other hand, a lack of direction can stem from uncertainties, lack of self-awareness, or fear of pursuing one's true interests. Without a clear direction, it is easy to be swayed by others' wills and goals, losing the opportunity to live an authentic life. Identifying these patterns in oneself marks the first step towards change. This process begins with strengthening self-esteem and self-awareness, truly understanding what you value and desire for your life. From there, you can start practicing assertiveness, learning to say no when necessary, and establishing and pursuing your own goals and aspirations. Indeed, the inability to refuse and the lack of clear direction in life can result in a less firm and assertive stance. When you are not rooted in your own values and goals, you become more susceptible to others' influence and interests. This lack of firmness can be perceived by others and, in some unfortunate cases, exploited. When people notice this lack of direction in someone, they may feel encouraged to impose their own wills and goals on that person. This can occur subtly or more directly, but the result is the same. You could end up living a life that reflects others' expectations and desires more than your own aspirations. It is essential to highlight that having direction in life does not mean having an inflexible plan or an unchangeable vision of the future. Rather, it means having a sense of purpose, knowing what is important to you, and making decisions that align with those values and goals. Direction provides a guide, an internal compass that helps navigate the complexities and challenges of life. The ability to express a no is essentially an act of self-affirmation. It involves recognizing and valuing your own boundaries, needs, and desires. Saying no is not limited to rejecting the unwanted. It is also an affirmation of yourself and what you value. If you are enjoying this reading, do not miss the opportunity. When people observe someone's lack of commitment to their personal goals, they are likely to perceive that person's time as less valuable than their own. This perception can trigger a detrimental dynamic where others' needs and desires are expected to be prioritized over your own. This scenario not only diminishes the importance of your time and efforts, but also establishes a pattern where your own goals and aspirations are constantly placed on the back burner. Although this dynamic can be subtle and not necessarily malicious, it reinforces the idea that others' needs are more important, creating a cycle of self-denial. Fulfilling others' expectations risks missing the opportunity to invest in oneself and one's own goals. This underscores the importance of developing a sense of direction and purpose. Setting clear personal goals helps establish healthy boundaries and make decisions that reflect one's priorities. This does not mean ignoring others' needs, but finding a balance between helping others and taking care of oneself. Additionally, learning to value your own time and efforts is crucial, recognizing their importance and the significance of your own goals and aspirations. By valuing yourself, you teach others to do the same. From the perspective of those who perceive others as less committed to their own goals, the erroneous idea may arise that, by dedicating time to meet their demands, you are using your time effectively, serving their interests. This perspective is problematic because it places the value of your time and efforts solely in the context of their usefulness to others, and not in relation to your own satisfaction and personal growth. This approach not only minimizes the importance of your own aspirations and needs, but can also lead to a loss of self-esteem and a feeling of dissatisfaction with life. Recognizing that being useful to others is just one of the many ways to invest your time is essential. The true value of your time manifests not only by contributing to others' well-being, but also by working towards your own goals, taking care of yourself, or simply enjoying activities that bring you joy and satisfaction. Dedicating yourself intensely and intentionally to a personal goal embarks you on a significant journey of self-valuation. This dedication not only reflects a clear definition of priorities, but also resonates as an affirmation of the value of your time and your life. This attitude sends a strong signal, both to yourself and those around you, indicating that every minute is precious and should be used thoughtfully and meaningfully. The choice to live with a clear purpose fundamentally transforms how others perceive you. Instead of being seen as a resource available to others, you are viewed as an individual with your own desires, ambitions, and passions. Committing to your goals has several notable advantages. Firstly, you experience a sense of authenticity and integrity. Your actions and choices begin to reflect your internal values and beliefs, providing you with a genuine and true sense of life. Secondly, this dedication fosters increased self-respect and, consequently, the respect others have for you. By demonstrating that you value your own time, you naturally teach others to do the same. Additionally, this attitude of commitment can serve as a source of inspiration for those around you. Observing your efforts and the achievements that result from them, you become a positive example, encouraging others to pursue their own dreams and passions. There is also the crucial aspect of establishing healthy boundaries. By dedicating yourself to your goals, you learn to say no to demands that do not align with your priorities, maintaining a healthy balance between meeting others' needs and your own. Furthermore, focusing on personal goals and aspirations emerges as an effective strategy for distancing yourself from situations where your boundaries are violated or where you are exposed to abuse. This ability to step away from harmful environments is crucial in various areas of life, whether in the workplace, marital relationships, or even friendships. In a professional context, for example, Having a clear vision of the future can be instrumental in identifying when a work situation becomes toxic, whether due to colleagues who do not respect boundaries or an unbalanced workload. Similarly, in personal relationships, such as marriages or friendships, the ability to stay true to your goals and values makes it easier to identify relationships that become one-sided or harmful. Sometimes it is challenging to recognize and admit that a close relationship is more harmful than beneficial. However, by focusing on your own needs and goals, you become more astute in perceiving when it is the right time to withdraw and seek healthier and more balanced environments and relationships. This act of distancing oneself is not only a form of self-preservation, but also an act of self-respect. It involves recognizing your own worth and understanding that you deserve to be in situations and relationships that are respectful and reciprocal. Incorporating these concepts into a narrative conveys a message of empowerment and self-defense. It encourages listeners to consider the importance of protecting themselves from harmful situations and to recognize the value of seeking environments that promote their well-being and personal growth. Focusing on your own path has the effect of reducing excessive concern for others' issues and opinions. By concentrating on yourself, the need to seek external approval significantly diminishes. You begin to understand that the only person you really need to prove anything to is yourself. This type of self-awareness and self-confidence is liberating and fundamental to building an authentic and fulfilling life. Distancing yourself from abusive people and destructive environments becomes a powerful way to protect your self-esteem and integrity. This is far from a sign of weakness, but rather of strength and self-awareness. By deciding to step away, you choose to safeguard your mental and emotional health, preventing it from being compromised by toxic situations or relationships. This stance is not only an act of self-defense, but also clearly communicates to the world around you that you are the captain of your own ship. You take the reins of your life and decide who and what deserves your valuable time and energy. It is essential to understand that this choice does not imply detachment or lack of appreciation for your friends, family, or partners. Rather, it demonstrates that, although you love and value these relationships, you do not subordinate yourself to them to obtain happiness or self-esteem. Establishing and maintaining healthy boundaries thus becomes an expression of respect for yourself, sending a clear message that you expect the same respect from others. In business contexts, adopting the stance of walking away during negotiations is especially powerful and indicates to all involved parties that you have other options and that, although you are interested, you do not entirely depend on that specific agreement to move forward. This approach reflects a mentality of abundance, based not necessarily on material possessions, but on internal satisfaction and confidence in your ability to create opportunities. The mentality of abundance emanates from an internal perspective that reveals security and self-sufficiency, qualities that are attractive and persuasive to others. In personal relationships, this approach also applies, highlighting the importance of loving and valuing the people in your life, but not needing them for your own happiness or sense of worth. This understanding fosters more balanced and healthy relationships without excessive dependency. In the realm of negotiations, the willingness to walk away and take this decision seriously is often the strongest position. This is because it demonstrates that you are making a conscious choice, not acting out of desperation or need. By showing a willingness to leave the negotiation table if conditions are not favorable, you maintain control and integrity of the situation, thereby increasing the chances of achieving a favorable outcome. Winning in these circumstances means not compromising your standards and respecting your own boundaries, ensuring that regardless of the outcome, you remain in a position of power. Epictetus once stated that the key to thriving in life lies in surrounding yourself with people who inspire you to be your best self. You have surely heard the saying that you are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. Today, we will explore this idea from a Stoic perspective and discuss the 7 types of people who can hinder your progress on the path of Stoic philosophy, along with tips on how to handle these challenging relationships. One of the types of people we should avoid is the complainer, that friend, family member or colleague who seems to find faults in everything, the weather, their job, or even the food at a popular restaurant. They never miss an opportunity to express their dissatisfaction. You might wonder why you should care about this. You might think you can just ignore them. However, the reality is that constantly dealing with such negativity has a draining effect on your mind and well-being, like a slow-dripping faucet that depletes your emotional energy reserve. Stoicism teaches us to focus on viable solutions instead of dwelling on problems. For example, imagine you are collaborating on a project with someone who is a perpetual complainer. Every meeting turns into an exhausting session of complaints without any constructive dialogue. This impacts team morale, diminishes the pursuit of actionable solutions, and can lead you to feel disenchanted with both the project and life in general. So, how does Stoicism help us deal with a complainer? There are several strategies you can employ. Firstly, limit your exposure to this individual whenever possible. If this is not feasible because they are a family member or colleague, the second option is to mentally distance yourself during their tirades, viewing their complaints as a strong, disturbing storm, but ultimately temporary and powerless against the unmovable mountain that is your inner peace. The third option is to steer the conversation towards solutions or change the topic to something more constructive. As Marcus Aurelius said, you have power over your mind, not over outside events. This Stoic wisdom encourages us to diligently protect our mental peace, ensuring that the negativity of chronic complainers does not derail us from our Stoic path of resilience and virtue. Another type of person we should avoid is what we will call the drama magnet. We all know someone like this, an individual who seems to be constantly embroiled in crises, conflicts, or controversies. Their life is like a whirlwind of chaos that can draw you in with its seemingly passionate or exciting energy, but you soon realize that being around them is like navigating through an exhausting and dangerous storm. Drama seems to follow them everywhere, and their ability to involve you in their chaos is almost magical. You may find yourself suddenly caught up in conflicts in which you initially had no part. A common example could be a friend who constantly has issues with other people in your circle. Today they are not speaking to Sarah, tomorrow they distance themselves from Tom, and the next day they seek your advice. Soon you find yourself at odds with Sarah or Tom, even though you tried to intervene in the best way possible. A useful strategy for dealing with people who are drama magnets is to practice reflective listening. Instead of offering advice or taking sides, reflect their words back to them. In business contexts, adopting the stance of walking away during negotiations is especially powerful and indicates to all involved parties that you have other options and that, although you are interested, you do not entirely depend on that specific agreement to move forward. This approach reflects a mentality of abundance, based not necessarily on material possessions, but on internal satisfaction and confidence in your ability to create opportunities. The mentality of abundance emanates from an internal perspective that reveals security and self-sufficiency, qualities that are attractive and persuasive to others. In personal relationships, this approach also applies, highlighting the importance of loving and valuing the people in your life, but not needing them for your own happiness or sense of worth. This understanding fosters more balanced and healthy relationships without excessive dependency. In the realm of negotiations, the willingness to walk away and take this decision seriously is often the strongest position. This is because it demonstrates that you are making a conscious choice, not acting out of desperation or need. By showing a willingness to leave the negotiation table if conditions are not favorable, you maintain control and integrity of the situation, thereby increasing the chances of achieving a favorable outcome. Winning in these circumstances means not compromising your standards and respecting your own boundaries, ensuring that regardless of the outcome, you remain in a position of power. Epictetus once stated that the key to thriving in life lies in surrounding yourself with people who inspire you to be your best self. You have surely heard the saying that you are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. Today, we will explore this idea from a Stoic perspective and discuss the 7 types of people who can hinder your progress on the path of Stoic philosophy, along with tips on how to handle these challenging relationships. One of the types of people we should avoid is the complainer, that friend, family member, or colleague who seems to find faults in everything: the weather, their job, or even the food at a popular restaurant. They never miss an opportunity to express their dissatisfaction. You might wonder why you should care about this. You might think you can just ignore them. However, the reality is that constantly dealing with such negativity has a draining effect on your mind and well-being, like a slow-dripping faucet that depletes your emotional energy reserve. Stoicism teaches us to focus on viable solutions instead of dwelling on problems. For example, imagine you are collaborating on a project with someone who is a perpetual complainer. Every meeting turns into an exhausting session of complaints without any constructive dialogue. This impacts team morale, diminishes the pursuit of actionable solutions, and can lead you to feel disenchanted with both the project and life in general. So, how does Stoicism help us deal with a complainer? There are several strategies you can employ. Firstly, limit your exposure to this individual whenever possible. If this is not feasible because they are a family member or colleague, the second option is to mentally distance yourself during their tirades, viewing their complaints as a strong, disturbing storm, but ultimately temporary and powerless against the unmovable mountain that is your inner peace. The third option is to steer the conversation towards solutions or change the topic to something more constructive. As Marcus Aurelius said, you have power over your mind, not over outside events. This Stoic wisdom encourages us to diligently protect our mental peace, ensuring that the negativity of chronic complainers does not derail us from our Stoic path of resilience and virtue. Another type of person we should avoid is what we will call the drama magnet. We all know someone like this, an individual who seems to be constantly embroiled in crises, conflicts, or controversies. Their life is like a whirlwind of chaos that can draw you in with its seemingly passionate or exciting energy, but you soon realize that being around them is like navigating through an exhausting and dangerous storm. Drama seems to follow them everywhere, and their ability to involve you in their chaos is almost magical. You may find yourself suddenly caught up in conflicts in which you initially had no part. A common example could be a friend who constantly has issues with other people in your circle. Today they are not speaking to Sarah, tomorrow they distance themselves from Tom, and the next day they seek your advice. Soon you find yourself at odds with Sarah or Tom, even though you tried to intervene in the best way possible. A useful strategy for dealing with people who are drama magnets is to practice reflective listening. Instead of offering advice or taking sides, reflect their words back to them. For example, if they say, "I can't believe what Sarah said about me," you could respond with something like, "You feel betrayed by Sarah's words." This technique allows you to provide emotional support without getting entangled in the drama yourself. Another strategy is to become selectively unavailable. Stoicism teaches us to value our time, and sometimes that means setting boundaries. Turning off your phone during certain hours or creating focus periods where you concentrate solely on your work or personal development allows you to enjoy the present without the anxiety of depending on the future. This can be especially useful when dealing with people who attract drama. Instead of constantly worrying about potential crises, focus on the present moment where you have control. Enjoy your life and do not allow someone else's drama to interrupt it. So, like an experienced navigator, make it a point to keep your ship away from the whirlpools that threaten your journey towards personal growth and tranquility. Continuing with our series on the types of people we should avoid, we come to the third type, the detractor. Imagine this. You are an artist painting a canvas that represents your vision of life. Each brushstroke adds color, depth, and life to your work. Enter the detractor, someone who observes your work and instead of praising or supporting you, begins to criticize it. They start questioning your choice of colors, pointing out that it does not look realistic and telling you that most artists never make it big. Their words are like gray brushstrokes that begin to obscure your vibrant canvas. This is not constructive criticism that can be valuable, but a constant aura of doubt and negativity. A common example of dealing with a detractor is when you share your enthusiasm for pursuing a new career path. You have researched, spoken with professionals in the field, and even taken some initial courses, but when you share your excitement with the detractor, instead of receiving support, they list all the reasons it might not work. They tell you the market is too competitive, you do not have the necessary skills, and what happens if you fail. Soon their doubts become your own, and the vision you had begins to waver. How do you deal with a detractor? You might try an unconventional but effective approach. Ask them for advice instead of simply sharing your plans or aspirations. When they are assigned the role of advisors, they are less likely to attack your ideas openly and can offer more constructive feedback. Another strategy is to use a technique called positive confrontation. Instead of absorbing their negativity, challenge them to think of solutions. If they say something won't work, ask them how they think someone could succeed in that area. This not only deflects the negativity, but also fosters a more constructive conversation. Remember the words of the Stoic philosopher Epictetus, who reminded us that we have 2 ears and 1 mouth, so that we can listen twice as much as we speak. Listening does not mean absorbing everyone's negativity, but discerning valuable input from mere noise. When detractors start to darken your canvas with their shades of doubt, step back, listen, and reflect. Keep painting your life with the colors that inspire you, and don't let anyone turn your vibrant masterpiece into a dull, gray landscape. Let's talk about the fourth type of person to avoid, the victim. Imagine life as a chess game where each player has the same pieces and the same goal, to checkmate the opponent's king. It requires strategic thinking, making sacrifices, and taking risks. However, the victim constantly blames the chessboard or even their opponent for every wrong move they make. In their perception, they are in perpetual checkmate, not because of their choices, but due to some external force working against them. Their narrative is an endless story of woe is me, with them as the helpless protagonist. It's important to note that some people face genuine difficulties and systemic problems. However, the victim we are talking about uses their situation as a permanent excuse, refusing to take any responsibility for their actions or lack thereof. You might find yourself trapped in their story, perhaps as a secondary character who constantly needs to rescue them. For example, you spend countless hours listening to a friend blame their failed relationships on their exes, refusing to take any part of the responsibility. So, how do you handle a victim? It's tempting to become their savior, offering endless advice and emotional support. However, the Stoics would warn against this and recommend setting boundaries to protect your own peace of mind. You can employ a technique called compassionate detachment, showing empathy and kindness, but avoiding rescuing them from situations they need to navigate themselves. Offer your ear, but do not become their perpetual problem solver. Marcus Aurelius once said that the best revenge is to be different from those who committed the injustice. If you find yourself caught in the narrative of a victim, resist the temptation to become a victim yourself. Take control of your own chessboard, make conscious decisions, and remember that in the game of life, being in perpetual checkmate is often a choice, not a destiny. Move your pieces forward, make strategic sacrifices when necessary, and play not for revenge or pity, but for growth and wisdom. Now, let's discuss the fifth type of person to avoid, the toxic optimist. We all know someone like this, those people who always seem to exude rainbows and flow with an endless amount of emojis telling you to be happy. Even when you're going through tough times, they dismiss your feelings and experiences with a wave of bright optimism. Imagine your life as a garden where there are flowers but also weeds and pests. The toxic optimist insists on ignoring anything that isn't a rosy bloom. If you have aphids on your leaves, they will tell you to just focus on the flowers and ignore the negativity in your garden. While this sounds pleasant, this approach can make you feel invalidated and disconnected from reality. Suppose you are going through a difficult breakup. You are sad, confused, and seeking emotional balance. The advice from the toxic optimist is, there are plenty of fish in the sea, smile and be happy. This type of excessive positivity neglects the complexities of human emotions and the realities of life and challenges. So, how can you cultivate your garden without allowing the toxic optimists to trample it with their indiscriminate spraying of good vibes only? One strategy is to involve them in a discussion that embraces both light and shadow. If they tell you to look on the bright side, you could respond, I am grateful for my health, but it's also okay to feel upset about this specific issue. Both can coexist. You can also employ what psychologists call emotional granularity, the ability to feel and differentiate between a wide range of both positive and negative emotions. When the toxic optimist pushes you to just be happy, take a moment to acknowledge and label your emotional nuances. Saying, I feel a bit melancholy today because of X and that's okay, can be a liberating affirmation. Following Stoic wisdom, remember that happiness is about understanding our duties to God and man, enjoying the present without anxiety about the future. It's not about focusing solely on the positive or negative, but embracing the complexity of life with equanimity. So the next time the toxic optimist sprinkles their confetti, take care of yourself and remember that a garden needs both sun and rain to flourish. Embrace your full emotional spectrum and continue nurturing your garden with the richness and complexity it deserves. Next, let's talk about the sixth type of person to avoid, the manipulator. Imagine your life as a movie where you are the main character and you have an idea of how your story should unfold. The plot twists are your allies and mentors, and your final act is your destiny. But then the manipulator enters, like a shadowy producer who subtly rewrites your script without you realizing it, until one day you discover that your story has changed completely. The manipulator is an expert in the art of emotional or psychological maneuvering. They can use flattery to make you feel guilty or even deceive you into following a path that benefits them. You might have a friend who always manages to get you to pay for dinner, saying something like, "You know, I've been having a tough month and you're doing so well. It wouldn't mean much to you, but it would make my day." Over time, you realize your generosity has been exploited, But leaving feels uncomfortable because they framed it as a favor to a friend in need. Handling a manipulator can be tricky. One method to counteract their tactics is what some experts call fogging. This technique involves agreeing with any truth in the manipulator's statements, but refusing to be influenced by coercive emotions. If they say you should cover the dinner bill because you're doing well, you could respond, "You're right, I'm doing well, but let's split the bill as we usually do." Another approach is to set clear boundaries and enforce them. If the manipulator wants to borrow money or get you to commit to tasks that make you uncomfortable, learn to say no assertively. Keep your tone calm and your words clear. "I can't lend you money, but I'm here to offer emotional support." Setting a boundary while maintaining the friendship is key. Inspired by Stoic thought, Epictetus warned us that we cannot choose our external circumstances, but we can always choose how we respond to them. The manipulator thrives on your predictable reactions, manipulating your kindness, guilt, or desire for approval. By choosing to respond differently, you take control of your script again. So, if you find a manipulator lurking in your life, remember that you hold the pen. The story is yours to write, and while the cast may include a variety of characters, the protagonist's journey, your journey, should always be guided by your own values and decisions. Claim your script and don't let anyone manipulate the narrative of your life. Finally, let's talk about the seventh type of person to avoid, the time vampire. Imagine your daily routine as a carefully crafted symphony where each instrument represents a task or commitment. When all play together, they create a harmonious balance in your day. But then the time vampire enters, creating a dissonant note and drowning out your beautiful melody, turning your composition into discordant noise. The time vampire is not necessarily malicious. In fact, they can seem quite harmless. It could be a colleague who constantly interrupts you with trivial questions, turning your productive workday into a series of fragmented moments. Or it could be a friend who invites you to countless social events you're not interested in, making you feel obliged to attend and draining your time and energy. These interactions might seem insignificant in the moment, but the cumulative effect can be profoundly disruptive. So how do you protect your symphony from being ruined by a time vampire? An effective strategy is the Pomodoro technique, a time management method that involves breaking your work into intervals, traditionally 25 minutes, separated by short breaks. During these intervals, you set a clear boundary to avoid interruptions. This protects your most productive moments from being nibbled away. If you find yourself dealing with a social time vampire, remember the saying, "Saying no is not bad, it's essential for your well-being." Instead of offering elaborate excuses, simply thank them for the invitation and be clear. "I appreciate the invitation, but I can't make it." Declining an invitation is not a rejection of the person. It's an affirmation of your own needs and priorities. As Seneca said, "Life well spent is long enough." Stoicism teaches us that time is one of our most precious resources. It's like the canvas on which we paint the portrait of our lives. We must be highly selective about who and what deserves a stroke of our brush in this great composition of life. Ensure that each note, each instrument, and each melody aligns with your greater purpose. Don't let the cacophonous intrusion of time throw your symphony into disorder. Hold your baton firmly and conduct your life with purpose, ensuring that each moment is a well-played note in your harmonious masterpiece. At the end of the day, let's reflect on ourselves. We've explored different types of people who can derail our path to stoic resilience and wisdom. Let's not forget that self-awareness is key. It's easy to recognize these types in others, but the most challenging and enlightening task is to look within ourselves. Perhaps you're unknowingly playing one of these roles in someone else's life. Remember, Stoicism is not just about navigating the world, it's also about understanding and improving ourselves. If today's discussion has sparked a realization, an epiphany, or even just a bit of introspection, I would love to hear your thoughts. Please share your experiences and thoughts in the comments section. Let's engage in a meaningful dialogue that benefits everyone. So, until next time, may your choices align with your virtues, may your actions reflect your wisdom, and may your life be the masterpiece you are meant to create. Disconnecting from people and situations is more than just walking away. It's embracing a philosophy of life that offers the tranquility we all long for. In this video, we will explore 7 principles that can free us from unnecessary ties. Discover the art of maintaining your inner peace, even in the midst of external circumstances. Learn to accept what you cannot change and focus on what you can control. The first step to distancing yourself from someone involves more than just walking away. It's a strategic move to gain perspective and safeguard your judgment from tumultuous emotions. As a wise Stoic advised in his letters to Lucilius, retreating is necessary to understand ourselves better. It's not about avoiding the situation permanently, but about creating space to choose our responses consciously. Imagine being immersed in a bustling city of emotions and chaos. In difficult situations or confusing emotions, the Stoics suggest that taking a short break can be like finding an oasis of calm amid the turmoil. It's not about evading reality, but giving yourself the opportunity to think clearly without the immediate interference of emotions. This conscious retreat involves not only physically stepping away, but also allowing yourself solitude to contemplate your feelings and thoughts. In Seneca's words, it's like pressing a pause button in the midst of chaotic life. It's finding a quiet place within yourself to catch your breath, objectively evaluating the situation without the surrounding emotional noise. Simply put, it's like taking a break in a game. You don't abandon the game forever. You just step away for a moment to clear your mind. Stoicism tells us that our feelings are like the weather. They come and go. By stepping away, you give yourself the chance to let the storm in your head calm down, making it easier to understand what to do next. This step is not about running away, but about pressing pause to find a quiet space amid the noise of life. The Stoics suggest stepping away because when things get tough, our emotions can act like a storm that clouds our judgment. Taking a short break can let the storm pass and help us see things more clearly. The Stoic idea is that in this space, we can make decisions based on reason, not just on how we feel at the moment. Finding a quiet place, whether taking a short walk, sitting in a park, or simply staying alone in your room, is key. The idea is to create a small space for yourself where you can think without distractions. Remember, it's not about escaping forever, but creating a moment of peace to resolve things. Consider if you need to distance yourself from yourself. The second step to detaching from people involves careful consideration of whether distancing is a rational and virtuous choice. Stoicism encourages us to align our actions with reason and virtue, seeking flourishing through moral excellence. The Stoic concept of oikeiosis, the idea of appropriation or familiarization, suggests that our natural inclination is toward virtue and social harmony. But not all relationships positively contribute to our moral growth. Stoics like Epictetus urge us to evaluate our associations and choose wisely. While we cannot choose our external circumstances, we can always choose how we respond to them. Reflect on the nature of your relationship with the person in question. Does it positively contribute to your moral development and well-being? Stoicism teaches that distancing from toxic relationships is not a sign of weakness, but a manifestation of wisdom and virtue. Imagine spending time with friends, and one of them starts doing things that make you uncomfortable. Stoicism suggests that just as you choose good friends, you should think if it's a good idea to keep spending time with that person. Simply put, it's asking yourself if that person helps you grow and be happy, or if they are making things harder. Stoics believe that good friends are like the sun for our souls. You have now reached the halfway mark of the video. I congratulate you for trying to become a better version of yourself, and I also humbly ask you to leave a comment, as it helps my channel immensely. If you do not know what to comment, just write mind over body, so I know you reached this far. And don't forget to subscribe for more content like this. Also, I've linked some books on Stoicism that helped me become the man I am today, and will also help you achieve a Stoic mindset. Remember, Stoicism does not advocate isolation. Although it focuses on self-discipline and inner strength, it recognizes that humans are social creatures who seek guidance and support from trusted individuals. Relationships are an integral part of the Stoic path in pursuit of moral excellence. The third step to separating perspective involves engaging in open and honest communication with someone you trust. This aligns with the Stoic idea of having philosophical friends, those with whom we can share thoughts, fears, and struggles. Seneca, in his letters, emphasized the importance of friendship and the role it plays in our quest for virtue. He stated that one of the greatest gifts a man can receive, besides good judgment and modest temperament, is that of a friendly friend, someone to consult like a mirror. Sharing your thoughts and emotions with a trusted friend, someone who embodies the Stoic values of wisdom and virtue, not only serves as a cathartic release, but also as an opportunity to gain valuable insights and perspectives. Stoicism teaches that by opening up to others, we strengthen our social bonds and foster a sense of community, essential elements in our journey towards Stoic detachment. When facing difficult feelings or a confusing situation, talking to someone you trust can be very helpful. Imagine this person as your wise game partner, capable of offering you good advice. Stoics believe in the idea that we are not meant to face everything alone. Having Stoic companions, whether a friend, family member, or even a mentor, is like choosing your ally in the game of life. When things get tough, sharing what you're experiencing, whether in person, by phone, or through messages, is a way to seek support without overwhelming. You're not burdening that person, you're sharing. Shedding light on your thoughts and feelings with a good game partner can offer ideas and perspectives you hadn't considered. Stoicism teaches that facing challenges with a friend by your side makes the journey much less bumpy. Additionally, setting boundaries for your feelings is crucial. Stoic philosophy emphasizes understanding and managing our emotions rather than repressing them. Recognizing and accepting emotions while maintaining rational control is key in this process. The fourth step of Stoic detachment guides us to set boundaries for our feelings. It's not about becoming indifferent or insensitive, but about exercising control over the intensity and duration of our emotional responses. Often, the Stoic concept of apatheia is misunderstood as a complete emotional disconnection, but it actually refers to a state of tranquility achieved by mastering our own emotional responses. Epictetus, a prominent Stoic philosopher, articulated this concept by stating that we have the power to suspend the action of passions, or at least to resist our inclinations. A Stoic practice is negative visualization, where we contemplate potential challenges and losses to mentally prepare for them. Setting boundaries for our feelings allows us to approach situations with a balanced perspective and keep our emotions under the control of reason. We can imagine our feelings as blocks of colors, and sometimes they accumulate, forming a tall tower. Simply put, Stoicism suggests that it's great to feel our emotions, but it's also smart to make sure they don't rise too high and make everything shake. The Stoics spoke of finding a balance, like building a tower high enough to be interesting, but not so high that it collapses. Imagine your feelings as blocks of different colors, happy, sad, angry, etc. Setting boundaries means being in charge, like a builder who decides how high to build the tower. It's about being okay with your feelings, but also ensuring they don't topple everything. The fifth step of walking away involves reflecting and considering the possible consequences of distancing yourself from a particular person. Stoicism urges us to be foresighted, to evaluate the long-term implications of our actions. Aligning with the Stoic concept of present moment awareness, it also encourages us to consider the future consequences of our decisions. In this framework, Stoicism highlights the importance of living in the present, but it also incites us to think about the future consequences of our actions. Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor and Stoic philosopher, reflected on this in his Meditations, emphasizing that it's not that we have little time to live, but that we waste a lot of it. Stoicism teaches us to weigh the possible benefits and losses of distancing ourselves, applying rationality and virtue to our decision-making. Imagine walking through a forest with different paths to choose from. Distancing yourself from someone, according to Stoicism, is like deciding which path to take in the forest. The Stoic philosophy holds that thinking about the future is like planning your moves in a game. Choosing to walk away from someone is like choosing a path in the forest. Stoics believe that looking toward the future helps us make decisions that lead to better outcomes. The sixth step: give yourself a break from social media. The prevalence of social media in contemporary society has introduced new challenges to maintaining emotional well-being. Stoicism, with its timeless wisdom, provides insights on how to manage our relationship with digital platforms and the constant influx of information. The sixth step of Stoic detachment encourages us to take a break from social media. Although the Stoic philosophers lived in a world very different from ours, they also faced external influences that disrupted their inner peace. Seneca, in his essay on the shortness of life, lamented the distractions that hindered a well-lived life. Applying this view to the digital realm, the constant flow of information and comparisons on social media can divert our attention from what truly matters. Imagine social media as a big puzzle. Sometimes trying to solve it with too many pieces can be overwhelming. Simply put, Stoicism suggests that it's okay to step away temporarily from this digital puzzle. Disconnecting from social media creates space for introspection, reducing external stimuli that can contribute to emotional turmoil. Following Seneca's warning to focus on what truly matters, this step of detachment invites us to think of social media as a digital puzzle that it's okay to set aside for a while to return with a fresh mind. Stoicism teaches us that our minds need breaks, just like our bodies. Social media can be like a constant stream of puzzle pieces with updates, images, and news that can sometimes be overwhelming. Stoic philosophers suggest that taking a break from this digital puzzle can help us keep our minds clear and focused. It's like putting the puzzle aside for a moment and doing something else, whether taking a walk, reading a book, or just relaxing without screens for a while. The seventh and final step involves focusing on what you need when separating from people and situations. The practical guide involves a deliberate focus on your own needs. Stoicism, with its emphasis on self-sufficiency and inner resilience, aligns perfectly with this principle. Epictetus, a Stoic born into slavery, emphasized the importance of distinguishing between what is within our control and what is not. In Stoicism, it's about taking control of your digital time, deciding when to engage with the puzzle and when to take a break. Remember, It's not about abandoning social media forever. It's about ensuring it doesn't overwhelm you and keeping your mind clear. The seventh step urges us to focus on what we truly need, and I don't mean material needs, but emotional well-being and virtue. Here, the Stoic practice of voluntary adversity becomes relevant, intentionally exposing ourselves to challenging situations to build resilience, thus strengthening our fundamental needs for emotional stability and moral integrity. At the heart of this step is the Stoic idea that true fulfillment comes from aligning our actions with moral excellence. A Stoic like Maximus stated that virtue is the only real good, reminding us that happiness and freedom emerge when we clearly understand what is under our control and what is not. Focusing on what we can control, such as our thoughts, actions, and reactions, empowers us to navigate relationships and situations with Stoic wisdom. Imagine life as a buffet. Stoicism suggests that when deciding what to put on your plate, it's wise to focus on what you truly need. It's like choosing wisely in life, somewhat like selecting the best items from a buffet. Stoic philosophers believe that what we need isn't always the same as what we want, and the buffet metaphor invites us to think of our lives as an opportunity to choose friends, activities, and experiences that genuinely nourish us rather than just taking everything that's available. Stoicism tells us that it's okay to choose things that truly fulfill us and make us happy in the long run. It's like saying, I'll choose things that are good for my heart and mind. Think about what you really need for your emotional well-being and growth. It's like selecting snacks that make you feel good, not just those that taste good for a moment. It teaches us that by focusing on what we truly need, we make our lives much more satisfying in the long term. In the journey of detaching from people and situations, the teachings of Stoicism offer profound and practical insights. It involves temporarily stepping away, considering the rationality of distancing, engaging in open communication, setting boundaries for our feelings, contemplating the consequences, taking breaks from external influences like social media, and focusing on our fundamental needs. By doing this, we align our actions with Stoic virtues. In the journey of detachment, according to Stoic teachings, we find valuable reflection on the importance of discerning what we truly need for our emotional well-being and growth from the fleeting distractions that often seduce us in the moment. By applying the principles of Stoicism, we learn that it's not about avoiding human connections or life's complexities, but handling them with wisdom. Every step, from the temporality of distancing to reflecting on future consequences, invites us to be reflective explorers in the forest of existence. Stoicism teaches us to be aware of our choices, set boundaries for our emotions, and focus on what is essential for our well-being. By doing so, we create a sturdy tower of balanced emotions and thoughts capable of withstanding the test of time. By temporarily disconnecting from social media, we are urged to find a balance between the constant influx of information and the need for clear mental space. This digital break is comparable to setting aside a complex puzzle for a moment to return with a fresh and renewed mind. Finally, by focusing on what we truly need, we align our actions with Stoic virtues that lead us toward a fuller and more satisfying life. Happiness, according to Seneca, lies in enjoying the present without depending on the future. In summary, Stoic detachment is not an act of indifference, but a conscious pursuit of a life richer in meaning and emotional well-being. Have you ever experienced a moment where you gave your all, did your best at work, had a brilliant idea, or did something genuinely valuable for others and remained unnoticed, not receiving the credit you deserved? I know it's frustrating to deal with this situation, and unfortunately, sometimes, even when we act correctly, doing what is best for everyone and making ourselves available to others, they may not recognize our efforts. According to Stoic philosophy, we should not expect recognition from others, as it is beyond our control, and such recognition may never come. Therefore, we shouldn't depend on it, as it will only lead to frustration. But what if I told you there are ways to become a priority in someone's life and finally be recognized? It's possible, and here we will show you 18 steps that can help you be at the top of someone's list, ensuring that people feel you are a priority in their lives. So, without further ado, let's dive into these steps and discover how you can achieve this. The first rule is simple but powerful. Create the fear of losing you permanently in the minds of those around you. People often don't value what is always available, but if they fear losing it, they will start to appreciate it truly. Imagine being that person who, if absent, would leave an enormous, irreplaceable void for others. You are not just an option, you are their deepest need. But that's just the beginning. Throughout this video, you'll discover strategies and tips to become someone people can't imagine losing. You'll learn how to be a presence that is impossible to ignore and how to prioritize your own value in the lives of others. So, if you've ever felt invisible or unappreciated, this narrative will provide you with the keys to change that dynamic and become someone who is appreciated and desired by everyone. Want to know how to achieve it? It's simpler than it seems, but incredibly powerful. You must show them that your world revolves around much more than just them. You are fiercely independent, confident, and complete on your own. Your life is an exciting adventure where you don't need anyone else to feel whole. Confidence and self-sufficiency are your secret weapons. Your world is vibrant and exciting, and you don't depend on anyone for it to be so. You are someone who adds incomparable value to the lives of those around you, and they know it. For them, being part of your world is a privilege, not a right. When they realize that you are not just another person seeking their attention, but an indomitable force they can't forget, that's when they intensify their efforts. You are not here to chase love or beg for scraps of attention. You are here to inspire them to chase you and beg for your attention. Let the fear of losing you grow. Allow them to seek your attention on their own. Make them realize that you are a valuable jewel they can't afford to lose. In this game, you are not just a contender. You are the champion they can't let slip away. Rule number 2 is clear. The most valuable things are rarely available everywhere and all the time. Similarly, you shouldn't always be available to anyone who desires it. Your time is valuable, and you must remember that your life is important. Imagine this. You are not waiting for someone all the time. Your life doesn't revolve solely around them. You have your own world to enjoy, and those lucky enough to be part of it must understand that. Balance is key. You shouldn't be the person who is always waiting for their messages or at their disposal at all times. Let them see that your time and attention are valuable. People are naturally attracted to those who have their own interests and plans. When they realize you are not sitting around waiting for them, you pique their curiosity and make them wonder what you do and who you really are. Showing them that you have your own life and things that matter to you is not about playing hard to get, but demonstrating that you are a person who values their time and autonomy. If you are not always available, they will understand that your time is valuable, and that will make them respect you even more. It's not about being difficult, but about being someone who needs to be valued. Remember, don't always be available. Rule number 3 is simple but powerful. Don't reveal everything about yourself at first glance. Mysterious people have an undeniable attraction. It's like they have hidden chapters in the book of their life, and everyone wants to unravel that mystery. Imagine you are like a fascinating book with some secret chapters, and people are eager to turn the pages and discover the story that awaits. Here's how to do it. Don't reveal all your secrets in the first conversation. Instead of sharing all the details of your life immediately, share fragments. You will gradually uncover your layers, allowing others to wonder about your thoughts, dreams, and experiences. Mystery sparks curiosity and attraction. When people can't predict your every move, they will be more engaged in getting to know you. You are like a puzzle they are eager to solve. Remember, you are not here to be an open book with every detail in sight. You are a complex and intriguing person with depths to explore. By maintaining a certain mystery, you will make others want to have you more in their lives. Rule number 4 is about allowing them to invest in you, but taking control of the game. Show them your true value and visualize this. You are a priceless gem they want to possess, and they are willing to do whatever it takes to have you in their lives. You are not just a passing interest. You are a commitment worth making. People tend to value what they have worked for. When they invest emotionally in you and dedicate their time, they become more committed. They will see you as someone truly special and will not take you for granted. Remember, you are not here to beg for their attention or affection. You are here to show them that you are a valuable addition to their lives and that they must earn the privilege of having you around. Give them space to invest their time, emotion, and energy in winning you over, as your presence is an asset they can't afford to lose. Rule number 5 is essential. Prioritize your own needs and well-being. Especially in any relationship, it is crucial to stand up for yourself and not put yourself in a position where you are not valued or treated as you deserve. Imagine this. You already know your own worth and refuse to accept anything less. You are not willing to compromise your happiness and self-esteem for someone who does not treat you with the care and consideration you deserve. Here's how to implement Rule 5. Prioritize your own needs and happiness. You understand that any healthy relationship, whether romantic or platonic, is based on mutual respect and consideration. You don't settle for less. Putting your needs first is not selfish. It is a matter of self-respect. It's about maintaining your dignity and emotional well-being. You make it clear that you will not accept being treated as an afterthought or an option. Prioritizing your own needs sends a powerful message that you will not allow anyone to ignore your feelings or undermine your self-esteem. You are an equal in any relationship, and your feelings and needs matter. Remember, you are not here to be a doormat or seek validation from others. You are here to build healthy and respectful relationships based on a solid respect for yourself. When you stand up for yourself, you become an even more attractive and compelling person, a presence that stands out in anyone's life. The essential rule number 5 is a reminder that your well-being and self-respect are non-negotiable and deserve to be a priority in your goals. So put your personal goals and interests first. The 6th rule in life is about maintaining your independence and not making someone the sole focus of your existence. Often, people are attracted to what they cannot have, and this rule helps you create a sense of allure and independence in your relationships. Imagine this. You are like a bright star in the night sky, radiating your own light and energy. You do not revolve around another person. You have your own orbit, your own life, and your own interests. Here's how to apply Rule 6. Avoid focusing too much on someone to the point where they become the center of your universe. You have your own passions, dreams, and individuality. This approach creates a sense of mystery and intrigue that makes others wonder about your world and what motivates you. They will be more attracted to your independent spirit and sense of adventure that you bring to the relationship. Remember, you are not here to lose your identity in another person. You are here to enhance both of your lives while maintaining your individuality. By not making them the center of your life, you become more captivating and irresistible. By living a life beyond the relationship, you continue to grow, evolve, and bring a sense of excitement and independence to the connection. This rule is a reminder that you are a complete person on your own, and your presence in someone's life is a valuable addition, not a substitute for their happiness. Rule 7 is about finding the right balance in your communication and not always being the one to initiate contact. It's a subtle but effective way to avoid being taken for granted in any relationship. Imagine this: you are the lighthouse, not the ship constantly seeking the light you radiate. You are there, present, but you also give others the opportunity to approach you. Here's how to apply Rule 7. Instead of always being the first to initiate a conversation, allow the other person to make the effort sometimes. This not only shows that you have your own life and interests, but also helps you gauge their level of interest. Being the only one initiating communication can inadvertently send a message that you are always available and willing to do everything for them. It's not about playing games, but about maintaining a sense of balance in the relationship. By occasionally taking a step back and allowing them to approach you, you give them space to appreciate your presence and recognize your value. It's a gentle reminder that you are not just an option, you are someone who deserves effort and attention. Remember, you are not here to chase love or friendship. You are here to create mutually respectful connections. By finding this balance in communication, you create an environment where both parties are equally involved in the relationship, fostering a healthier and more balanced connection. Rule 8 revolves around the fundamental idea that happiness begins within you. It's about being a content, confident, and independent person, which naturally makes you more attractive to others. Imagine this: you are like a radiant sun, and your happiness does not depend on the presence or actions of anyone else. You shine on your own, and people are drawn to your warmth and positivity. Here's how Rule 8 works. You should not depend on another person for your happiness. Instead, you should create your own joy and satisfaction. Confidence and independence are magnetic qualities that make you more attractive to others. People are naturally drawn to those who radiate positivity and self-confidence. When you are content with your life, you become a source of inspiration and light for others. Creating your own happiness communicates that you are not looking for satisfaction in others. You are a complete and joyful person on your own. This mindset is attractive because it does not burden others with the responsibility of making you happy. Remember, you are not here to find happiness in someone else. You are here to share your happiness and enrich the lives of others. By following Rule number 8, you become an irresistible presence that radiates positivity and confidence, and others cannot help but be attracted to that. Rule number 9 is a fundamental reminder that you must be willing to walk away from any relationship that does not value you. This sends a powerful message that you are not willing to settle for less than you deserve and that you have a deep respect for yourself. Imagine this: you have the strength and self-esteem to recognize when a relationship is not mutual or fulfilling. You are not desperate to cling to something that undermines your happiness and self-esteem. Here's how to apply Rule number 9. First, you establish clear boundaries and standards for how you expect to be treated in any relationship. If someone consistently fails to meet those standards, you are willing to walk away, regardless of how strong your feelings are. Walking away is not about lacking compassion, but about exercising self-preservation. It is a demonstration of your self-esteem and your refusal to compromise your well-being for someone who does not value you. By walking away, you also create an environment where the other person can realize the gravity of the situation. They will understand that they need to step up and prioritize you if they want you to remain in their lives. Remember, you are not here to cling to relationships that do not serve your happiness and self-esteem. You are here to have mutually respectful and healthy connections. Sometimes that means being strong enough to let go when necessary. In essence, rule number 9 is a reminder that your worth and self-respect are fundamental. You have the power to choose who you allow into your life based on how they prioritize and value you. Rule number 10 is a vital reminder of the importance of not becoming overly emotionally attached. It emphasizes the need to maintain emotional balance while aspiring to be a priority in someone's life. It's about not letting your emotions overwhelm the situation and ensuring that your needs are recognized and prioritized. Imagine this. You are like the captain of a ship, with a steady hand on the helm, navigating your emotions with grace. You maintain your emotional balance, which makes it easier for others to prioritize your presence in their lives. Here's how rule number 10 works. It encourages you to achieve a balance between expressing your emotions and maintaining composure. While emotions are valid and essential, being overly emotional can sometimes obscure your true value. By embracing emotional balance, you allow others to understand your feelings and needs without feeling overwhelmed. It's about communicating your emotions in a way that fosters prioritization without creating unnecessary drama. This mindset is attractive because it demonstrates your emotional intelligence and self-control, making it easier for others to recognize and prioritize your feelings and presence in their lives. Remember, you are not suppressing your emotions. You are expressing them in a way that fosters understanding and prioritization. By following rule number 10, you become more effective in communicating your emotions and needs, ultimately making it easier for others to prioritize you in their lives. In conclusion, these 10 rules offer valuable insights into how to become a magnetic presence in someone's life, someone they cannot help but prioritize. They help you create a fear of losing you by not always being available, maintaining a touch of mystery, allowing them to invest in you, prioritizing your own needs, not making them the center of your life, and finding the right balance in communication. You become an irresistible force. By creating your own happiness and maintaining emotional balance, you add depth to your attractiveness. The reminder to be willing to walk away from relationships that do not value you reinforces the importance of self-respect. Remember, you are not just seeking attention. You are seeking healthy, balanced, and mutually respectful connections. By following these rules, you become a person of immense value, and others will naturally want to make you a priority in their lives. If someone treats you as an option, remember that you have the ultimate power to remove them from your life as a choice. Your value is non-negotiable, and you deserve to be with people who recognize and prioritize your worth. Step 11. In life, there is a term that stands out: quality over quantity. This philosophy applies not only to what we do, but also to relationships. If your goal is to become a priority in someone's life, you may need to learn to be a little less available. It seems a bit counterintuitive, right? But the more available you are, the more likely you are to be taken for granted. Now, I'm not suggesting that you should be selfish and only be available when it suits you, but it's important to learn to adapt and accommodate others in a balanced way. It's time to prioritize yourself, and part of that process involves sending the message that you have a life of your own, beyond waiting for others. Step 12. There is something about mystery that often attracts us. If we look around, we find that people are often drawn to the enigmatic, to that touch of mystery in others' lives. The fascination with the unknown is something that can captivate us uniquely, and often this mystery makes us feel more connected. Especially in relationships, being a bit mysterious can work in your favor if you want to be seen as a priority in someone's life. The key is to avoid revealing everything about yourself right away. Instead, you can drop hints about your hobbies and interests without oversharing. When they ask questions, you can answer vaguely and avoid delving too deeply into your past. The goal is to keep the other person intrigued and eager to learn more about you. Over time, as you pique their curiosity and maintain a certain level of mystery, they will start to see you as a priority in their lives. This approach may seem a bit intriguing, right? So how can you apply it effectively in your relationships? Join me in the next paragraphs as I share some tips to achieve this. Step 13. This is a delicate step that we must handle with wisdom and moderation. We don't want to push people away, but rather the opposite. Consider this. Who is more likely to see you as a priority? Someone who has invested a lot in you, or someone who hasn't? The answer is quite obvious. If you want someone to see you as a priority in their life, you need to allow them to invest in you. This can be achieved in various ways. For example, you can let them invest their time with you, even turning down other plans you know you won't be able to fulfill. Additionally, show that your time is valuable by not always being available and making them wait. This attitude will send a clear message. You are not like anyone else, and they need to put in more effort to earn your time. By doing so, they will see you as a challenge and start to prioritize you. However, it's crucial to remember that this technique must be used in moderation for it to work. Don't overdo it, as the result could be the opposite of what you want in this step of your desire. Step 14. It is crucial to prioritize your needs, but that doesn't mean being selfish. Rather, it means not putting yourself in a position where you are not a priority. For example, why would you want to surround yourself with someone who doesn't treat you as you deserve? It's essential to avoid being close to people who don't value you. By surrounding yourself with people who see you as a priority, you increase your chances of being seen the same way. It's important to remember that you cannot control how another person feels about you. You can only control how you feel about yourself. If you want to be a priority in someone's life, make sure to be a priority in your own life first. This is the step on the path of life. Don't make others the center of your world, because in the end, it is your self-love and worth that truly matter. The intrigue and interest lie in learning to set your boundaries and value yourself. So, keep reading to discover how to apply this approach effectively in your relationships and get others to see you as a priority. Step 15. Did you know that people are often attracted to what they can't have? It's true. The more someone feels they need to work for something, the more they want it. You've surely heard the expression, "The grass is always greener on the other side." This phrase symbolizes people's tendency to feel more captivated by what they don't possess, and this applies not only to material possessions, but also to interpersonal relationships. This is step number 15 on the path of life. Emphasize the importance of keeping this wisdom in mind when dealing with other people. Maintaining some distance can make people feel more attracted to your presence. You will convey the message that you are not desperate for their attention, and over time, they will start to value you more. Step 16. Communication is important. If you often find yourself initiating communication with someone who is important in your life, it may be time to take a step back. At first glance, this may seem counterproductive, especially if your goal is to become a priority in that person's life. The question is, shouldn't you be the one to initiate communication if you care? The answer is not as simple as it seems. When you are always the one initiating communication, the other person may take your efforts for granted. They get used to you always being available and may start to see you as less important in their lives. So, what's the alternative? It can be as simple as stopping the initiation of communication and seeing what happens. If the other person truly cares about you, they will make an effort to get in touch with you. It's a test that allows you to evaluate the reciprocity in the relationship. This step suggests creating your own space and allowing the other person to also take the initiative in communication. The intrigue and interest lie in knowing how to apply this effectively in your relationships. So, keep reading to discover how to do it and get others to see you as a priority. Step 17. It's fundamental when it comes to becoming a priority in someone's life. Happiness is important. Create your own source of happiness and don't completely depend on another person for happiness. While having someone to rely on and who makes us feel good is a gift, depending on them for our happiness can lead to disappointment. When we put all our happiness in someone else's hands, we are not truly living our lives, but rather living according to their agenda and priorities. This can lead to feelings of resentment and imbalance. If you want to be a priority in someone's life, it is crucial to create your own source of happiness. Step 18. It's a test of value. Walking away from someone you care about can be scary, but it's an essential step to show that you are not afraid to walk away if you are not valued. Always remember that your part is to do the right thing, what is within your control. Keep in mind that your actions are a reflection of who you are in the eyes of others, and by acting in a way consistent with your values and dignity, you should feel good about yourself. Do not expect to always be credited or recognized for it, nor that people will always give you the value you deserve immediately. Give it time. People will naturally start to value you the way you deserve, and that will make you a priority in their lives. This step can be challenging, but it is an essential step to achieve that. They see you as a priority in relationships. So keep reading to discover how to apply this strategy effectively and build healthier and more equitable relationships. The key lies in prioritizing ourselves, taking care of our happiness and well-being. Eventually, others will begin to notice and give you the value you deserve. Remember that even when others don't put you at the top of their list, you can and should give yourself the priority you deserve. It's not about selfishness, but about self-compassion and self-determination. We have all lived moments where we feel neglected or not prioritized, but it's essential to remember that our journey in life is unique, and others' priorities don't always reflect our true value. Instead of letting these situations affect our self-esteem, we can use these moments as opportunities for personal growth. The key lies in prioritizing ourselves, taking care of our happiness and well-being. Eventually, others will begin to notice and give you the value you deserve. Remember that even when others don't put you at the top of their list, you can and should give yourself the priority you deserve. It's not about selfishness, but about self-compassion and self-determination. By doing so, we can build healthier relationships, make decisions more aligned with our goals, and live a fuller and more meaningful life. Thank you for watching. Now, if any part of this message has been helpful to you, leave us your like and comment, helping the algorithm recommend it to someone who needs it at this time. Don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss new videos. And if you look through the videos we've already uploaded, you're sure to find something to take with you. Have a good day.